Hello, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Alchemy interview series. My name is Chris Ward. I am with AbundantYogi.com, the nourishing training grounds for entrepreneurial yogis, coaches, and other heart-centered entrepreneurs whose aim is true freedom and whose deepest ache is for authenticity, specifically having the freedom and the abundance to be authentically them all the time in life and in business. Alchemy is a brand new interview series I'm offering for no other purpose than to spread the love and to get to hang out with some of my favorite people on the planet who I consider to be true alchemists, who are doing what they love with great success and who are making a big impact. Today, I feel so privileged to be interviewing Luminita Saviuk, aka the Purpose Fairy. If you don't know Luminita or her Purpose Fairy blog, it's one of my new personal favorites. It's actually been featured on the Huffington Post, and one of her blog posts was recently seen over, I think it was almost 1.2 million people at this point. If you don't know Luminita, again, I'll tell you a little bit about her. She is born in Romania. She now works at Mindvalley, which is an online publisher for personal growth material. Her role specifically, she's involved with working with some of the industry's top trainers and authors, creating products and programs that touch millions of lives. Now, she herself is a brilliant writer, hence millions of people seeing her blog. Every word on thepurposefairy.com drips with the obvious pleasure that she takes in sharing all that she's discovered about life's hidden truths. Now, besides all sorts of yummy musings on living true and making a massive difference doing what you love, here is what's on the agenda for today's interview. How to just be yourself, pursuing and developing your natural interests, gifts, and passions, and inspire over 1 million people in the process. How the heck did she do it? Well, we're going to be talking about that. Also, how to know what your purpose really is, or if it's really something you can ever even know for sure. We're also going to cover what it really takes to be a content machine and never run out of irresistible material to keep your favorite people coming back for more. And we're also going to cover the single most important mindset to employ if you really want to design a life versus just making a living. That and a lot more spontaneous magic that cannot even be predicted at this point. That's what's in store for you. So let's say hi to Luminita and we'll get rocking and rolling. Luminita, hi.
Hi, Chris. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. I've just been eating up every word of your blog recently, and I'm so excited to find out more about your story and really how the Purpose Fairy came to be. So you want to go ahead and dive in and tell us about you and how you gave birth to this thing that's now getting so much attention and adding so much value?
I'm ready. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so about me, what I can say, I kind of started writing a few years ago, and I don't really remember how it all started. I just woke up and I realized that I kind of had a blog, and I was writing on that blog, and I never knew that writing is one of my skills. Because I remember when I was in 5th grade, I wrote an essay, and my teacher told me, "Oh my God, Melissa, you wrote the best essay." And from that moment, I think I got so scared that I would not be able to top that I stopped writing. I literally stopped writing, and I never knew that I can actually write. And I don't know, probably I was at one point in my life when I was struggling, and maybe I was asking myself what kind of question, what is life all about? Is this how I'm planning to live my life? And probably it was a way of journaling for me.
Yeah.
And you know what they say, the best way to teach something to somebody is to learn, is to teach people to do it.
Mm-hmm. So. Awesome. And so really purposefairy.com is just your place to journal and share your thoughts and what you're learning and discovering and the ideas and inspirations that light you up. And you just happen to inspire 1 million people along the way.
Yeah, it's not like that. It started as a way to just write my thoughts down, and one thing led to another that I realized that, I have a big followership and like people really enjoy it, and it just happened. I don't really know how it happened. I didn't plan that. It was just a way for me to kind of like put my thoughts down and just like discover who I am and maybe like help other people do the same. And in the end, this is like what happened. So I'm really happy to see that like by actually going on your way of like self-discovery and self-mastery, you can actually like help empower other people and like so many people that I actually did so far.
Yeah, awesome. So I would love to cover this from two different sides. We've already covered the side that this is your true self-expression. This is you just being you, talking about what you love, the subjects that you most enjoy, the conversation you want to be in and contributing to. Are there any other pieces that you can divulge to us, whether they were on purpose or not, whether it has to do with SEO or keywords or social media, or what do you feel like was the engine that drove so much traffic that enabled you to get 1 million viewers, beyond the fact that it's just such good content, like it is for sure, but were there any pieces that made it work that helped you to reach that many people?
Well, first, I think it's like this is how it starts. You have to love what you're doing, because if not, you kind of get bored in the end. Because a lot of people kind of start writing, they think, oh, it's so cool to like have a blog, but eventually they stop. So it's like it's this first you have to have the love for what you're doing and like really believe in it, because I feel like you can communicate from your unconscious mind can literally communicate with the unconscious mind of all those people who read it. And if we're really honest, it's something that triggers in them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And just because I never really like study SEO or things like that, but it's just maybe it's something that you're like you just know what to do. And people sometimes study these things, but you don't really have to study, because it comes so natural. And as you go along the way, you know what to do, and you know what tags to put, you know what title and things like that.
So it really was just you learned as you went, because you had such a passion for your blog and for your writing that you learned little pieces here and there about how to tag your content. And like you're really good at creating headlines that are attractive and that draw people in. So you've obviously learned a little bit about copywriting along the way. So you're doing a lot of mindful marketing right without even trying to. Do you think that you learned those pieces by osmosis just in the job that you have at Mindvalley?
I think I learned it there also, but like I had the blog way before I started working for Mindvalley. So it's like, but I do think I learned in Mindvalley a lot of things also, like maybe what people need, because I think emotional intelligence plays an important role in all of these things.
Absolutely.
And once you kind of know, like you emphasize with people, you just like, there's an inner knowing and you know exactly what to offer and how to do it. And there are people who study it so hard, and for you maybe it comes like more natural, and you don't really have to like study and like struggle so much as other people do.
Yes, you're so right about that. You know, one of the things we talk about in Abundant Yogi is the whole idea of coming from your core ID or your core identity, your authentic self. And that when you come from your core identity and you're delivering what we call your core competencies, which is this perfect blend of your passions, talents, and skills. So when you're delivering those and you're coming from your authentic self as you deliver those, and you're sort of meeting your audience where they're at, you're helping them across a bridge they want to cross, for instance, you're filling a gap that needs filling. Here, it's inspiration. You know that your audience is looking for clarity, personal development, inspiration. So you're doing all those things. And it's as if when you come from your core ID and you share your core competencies this way, it's almost effortless, and it's like you're speaking a universal language because it's coming straight from the heart. And you hit people at their core, and they pay attention, and they share your blog, and they keep coming back for more. I want to speak to this a little bit because there are so many gazillion blogs out there these days, and so many people doing personal development and personal growth and what have you. There's so many people talking about authenticity that it's easy to glaze over and to go, oh yeah, that's another one of those blogs, that's somebody else, and to not pay attention. So there's something you're doing that's making people stop and pay attention. And I can see through my mindful marketing goggles that you have learned the art of writing killer headlines and you have learned great copywriting, but that I can also see that you are coming from the heart and that you're full of knowledge and wisdom. And this is something that comes rather easy to you because it's your core competencies. So I just wanted to speak to that a little bit because I feel like you're a living, breathing example of someone who is impacting millions of lives just being yourself, coming from your core identity and sharing your passions, talents, and skills.
Yeah. No, because it's so true what you said. If you're coming from the core, because there are a lot of people who write about personal development and spirituality, but most of them maybe they know the theory, but they don't really live it, right?
Yes.
And it's like people, they can feel these things. It's like I can go on stage and tell my story, and it can be the same as somebody else's story, but because I live it, right? People will feel it, and they'll be more willing to kind of maybe follow you and listen more to what you have to say than other person who maybe they just they know how to talk, but they don't really live that. And feel these things.
Yeah. So you're saying walking the talk and also being raw, being real, being vulnerable, and not just regurgitating something you learned from somebody else.
No, you just have to literally feel it and live it.
Yeah.
Because of course there are maybe a lot of great writers who they're really good at what they're doing, but they're not necessarily living that.
Yes.
And maybe you do feel that, in deep down inside, it's not consciously that you are realizing these things, but deep down inside there's something that, okay, I do like it, but it's I can move on. But when you see that people keep coming back and coming back, you know that there's something that they're triggering in them.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. So I know that apart from having a killer job at Mind Valley, this online publisher where you have the privilege of working with some of the industry's top authors and content developers, that you have also been able to monetize purposefairy.com, which is just your blog, your love and passion. You've been able to monetize it with Google AdSense, which is more or less you get paid a little kickback for everybody who wants to put relevant ads on your blog, and Google pays you for that. So I just wanted to bring this up because I know when you and I were doing our prep work for this interview, we had a short little conversation about your philosophy on doing what you love and getting well paid for it. You mentioned something to the extent of there's something you're good at that nobody else can do just like you. And if you'll do that for a living, then you're going to have great success at it. And this just takes the core identity concept a little bit further. Do you want to say a few words about that? Your philosophy on this?
Of course. Yeah, because there are a lot of people, when they hear living your life on purpose and doing what you love, they kind of associate that with just some hobbies, right? And they don't necessarily see by doing these things, they will actually being paid and have a really good life. But I do believe that once you kind of start living your life on purpose and you're doing the things that you really love and you are aligned with what you want and what you that fits in what unique something that you have, and you share that with the world, you will offer so much value that you will receive a lot of abundance in return. And there's nothing wrong with that. And people sometimes maybe they get irritated that knowing that maybe you do what you love and you get paid, but and with this blog, I also have to I do make money, but at the same time I have to pay the server, maybe a redesign. So there are a lot of things that I need the money in order to write some more and do the changes so I can touch even more lives. Because if not, I will not be able maybe to host it, and the site will be down. So it's they're all interconnected, and you need one, because without that one you can't really move forward. So, but I do believe that when you find that special something that you're really good at and you're offering to the world, you will be paid for it, and you will not struggle, and there will not be any shortages or anything like that. So it's there's a really beautiful quote from Wayne that is doing what you love is the cornerstone of having abundance in your life. And I really believe that. I really believe.
Amen to that. And I want to add to that something you already touched on, which is you also have to be in it for the long haul. You have to understand the stakes are high and real, and you do have to make money in order to keep this going, in order to keep adding value and keep serving people. You have to be in business to make a profit so that you can pay for your team or your operational costs or your web hosting or what have you. So there's absolutely no shame in getting paid to do what you love so that you can, so it can be sustainable, so you can keep the lights on and you can make a bigger difference. Lots of times in this whole personal development and yoga arena, there are what I call some wealth wounds with people not wanting to, or having a hard time getting paid their worth for doing what they love, or having a hard time receiving abundance, this exchange of value of the actual monetary dollar figure. And yet money is a necessary part of life. It's the currency that we have right now, so let's not resist that. Let's just play the money game in a really smart way that allows us to get our needs met, that allows us to keep doing what we love and keep adding value. So I love that you touched on that piece.
Yeah, and how, like, it's funny how people, how can you take money and be paid for something that, yeah, it's my job, I don't really like it, but I do it, but not accept to get paid for something that you love. That's like, how can you say something like that, right? Just
Right.
like, let the beauty what you love be what you do, and just like you will be compensated so much because there's like a need for value in this world. And like when the moment you will provide value, people will want to stick by you and they want to like know what you have to offer, and they will be willing to buy that because there's not that much value in the world. Like people, they go like they're just doing their job and that's it, they stop there.
Yeah, and that's kind of a sad thing. And you know, granted, there are some times when we have to make sacrifices and we have to be willing to maybe take this side job that keeps the food on the table and keeps the bills paid, while on the side we hustle our booties off to grow our dream career that allows us to have this platform for true self-expression. Because I know, you know, sometimes there has to be some give and take, but I do believe that it's a great spiritual disservice that we do to ourselves, to our family, and to the world when we are not really doing what would be considered dharmic, what would be our purpose, our work, our path, our journey. And this sort of leads me to the next question that I have for you. Being the purpose fairy and all, what's your take on purpose? And can we ever really know what our purpose is?
Well, I can like actually say that like after so many years, right now I know for sure that I'm living my life on purpose, and it's so rewarding. And it wasn't like that because I had like, I think this kind of happened in the last maybe 2 years or maybe less than 2 years. Because till then I was like a lot of people just living my life on autopilot and just doing things
by
just
default.
because that's what everybody does. So I was never questioning anything. But at one point it's just like something happened and I started asking myself all kind of questions. So I was like, is this life, this is how it's meant to be lived? I don't think so. So I kind of start to ask myself all kind of questions, and I started reading and doing a lot of introspection. And this is kind of how it all starts. I think first thing you have to do is just like ask. I don't know. I call it universe. You can call it God, Buddha, Mohammed. Doesn't really matter the name. But just ask what is my purpose, and just trust that in time you will receive the answer. Because me personally, I never knew that writing is my sphere. I never knew that I can write. I knew the other things. Like it was like I'm artistic and creative, and I studied other things, but I never knew that writing is something. So I think just because I asked questions and I did a lot of introspection and a lot of journaling, things just kind of start coming my way, and I took action. It's not like you're just sitting and just think that one day you just wake up and that's it. Your life is on purpose.
Yes.
So, but it's just like you said, there will be times when maybe you will still have to be in a job that you like need to pay the bill, but in on the side to focus on the things that you feel like maybe they're part of your purpose. Yeah. So sometimes I ask people because they ask, how do I find my purpose? So I think it's just being like willing to kind of put on the side the things that you say that you need to do them in order to pay the bills, and just like maybe find something that brings pleasure to you. Your like I don't know your passions, the things that you will even if you will not be paid for them. I will do these things even, and there were like time when I was doing them and I wasn't making any money, but I was doing it. I didn't even know why is that. And I was writing. And there were times like people would tell me, why are you writing? You should stop with that nonsense. Like do something like serious. And I would just like keep coming back. So I think like it's not something that you find. It's something that kind of finds you.
Yes.
The more you kind of like let go of some things that normal people say, oh, you have to do this because life is hard. You have to like be like everybody else. So there's an inner thing that it will happen the moment you can, ask questions and just be willing to receive the answers and like start taking action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you touched on so many amazing points here. I'm absolutely loving this conversation. And the essence of what you're talking about with living on purpose, that's what I refer to as lifestyle design. At least the way that we refer to it at Abundant Yogi, and the work that we do around that is all about living on purpose, leaning into your pleasure, really doing the internal work, really getting in touch with the interior about what is it that I love to do? What are my strengths and my talents and passions? What areas do I feel like I could do this all day long and it just flows out of me effortlessly? This true abundance of I just want to do more of this. It feels so good, and the more I do it, the stronger I feel and the more alive I feel. And as you said, when it really is your purpose or your dharma, your passion, it finds you. You really can't not do it without a part of you withering. You know, it's as though it keeps coming back and nudging you like, hello, are you paying attention to me? Are you paying attention to me? And you do have to be willing to pay attention to it, willing to learn a skill set that will allow you to do it in a bigger way. Like you obviously learned how to blog, you learned about copywriting, you learned about headlines, you learned enough about SEO and tagging to get, plenty of traffic to your site. And it was literally just one foot in front of the other. Trust yourself, go with this, lean into this. And if you really want to monetize it and make it into a living for yourself, you can do it. You just have to be committed for the long haul, and you have to stay in action. And this brings me to another point. You are a content machine. It's very clear that you stay in action. This isn't just some side thing that doesn't take very much time. This takes a great deal of time for you to run thepurposefairy.com. I mean, I can see that. You never seem to run out of irresistible material to keep your favorite people coming back to your blog for more. So I'd love for you to speak about how that is. Like, how is it that you're a content machine? And how is it that you stay in action even when not everybody is going to agree with you or like what you put out there?
Well, I strongly believe that, sometimes I imagine when I'm maybe sad, I imagine how I detach from my body and from the whole planet, and I just go on the moon and I watch the planet Earth, and I look at it and I don't see all these people as being separate. I just see oneness. And I think the moment you kind of realize that we are all one, and the moment you kind of start doing a lot of introspection and knowing who you really are, you get in touch with that, and you realize that your needs and it's are the same as the needs of everybody else, because we're all one. So it's just you're observing yourself, you're observing your behavior and the behavior of everybody around you. And it's the ideas they don't stop coming.
Yeah.
And it's there are a lot of time when I know I was reading some of the story of great teachers, and they were saying how their writing, they were not coming from them. And I got to a point when I feel the same way. I'm not the source. So it's the writing is done through me, but I'm not the one who I'm not really the source.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I write, it's the more it comes. So the more I use it, the more it produces. So it's you get to that place where you discover what your purpose is, and it's infinity. You can't really run out of material, whatever it is, writing or photography or whatever. It just keeps coming back. So it's all about just realizing that we're all one, and observing everybody around you, and always focusing on giving the best to the world.
I love that. I love every word you just shared. Thank you so much for that. What do you feel is the single most important mindset to employ that we absolutely must have if we really want to design a life versus just making a living?
I would strongly say that it starts with being yourself, and just if you don't know who you are, because all these years of conditioning, your your parents told you who you are, your teachers, society. You just like step back on the side and just like try to detach from your own body, your own life, and just observe what you're doing and just ask yourself, who is it that am I? All these beliefs, are they mine, or just like they're like my mother's, my father's, of society? And you start asking all of these questions, and you realize that you're none of those things, and you start building your life your own way. So it's like you just, that's it. I will take over from here. Like, you guys helped me a lot, but this is not my life. This is what you guys kind of envision for me, and this is what you believe I am, but I am not that. And you like start designing a lifestyle versus
that is conscious evolution at its best, and I love that. It's when you truly become awake to who you really are at your core and what you're here to do and how you choose to live your life very deliberately from this point forward. And you bless and thank all of your teachers and mentors and the people that loved you and the people that ridiculed you, because it all sort of created who you are today. And you own, your thoughts, your words, your actions moving forward, so that you really can have each one of those be in alignment with who you are, including your career and including how you make an income. So go ahead.
I think we doubt ourselves so much. We don't really trust, because you're constantly like, I don't know if I should say that. I don't know if I should do it. Just trust yourself, because you have all these teachers in the history and like still living. They'll say like, just trust yourself, because all the answers are within. And as you kind of like work on like finding who you really are, you do realize that it's true. The answers are within, and like the more you access those answers, like the more you get. So it's like you're not running out of like answers. But whatever you ask, you just like sit quiet and you will like receive the answers. And another thing, I think it's really important, because people, they're like constantly feeling this need to compare themselves with everybody around them. And when those people around you are like they're doing a less valuable job than you do, you feel good. But what if those people do a better job than you? So it's like you're constantly, your moods like change based on how those around you are.
Yes.
So it's so good, like important to just try to be better than yourself. Just look back 1 year from the day we are right now. So like, are you better than 1 year? If not, just how can you improve? So you can't really be competing with everybody around you. Just like compete with yourself, and things will like fall into places.
Yeah. Comparing is an absolute killer. I couldn't agree more. The second that we start comparing ourselves to anyone, we're screwed. We're stuck. We can't move forward, and we're stuck in monkey mind, doing no good and adding no value at all. And coaching so many hundreds of entrepreneurial yogis and coaches and heart-centered entrepreneurs, I'd say this is the number one thing, is that they get stuck comparing themselves to other people, and they get stuck, thinking, this person's been in it longer than I have, or they have more to add than I do, or that person's already doing something similar to me on a bigger scale. Well, so what? This is your work. And if you really trust yourself and you do it your way, in your flavor, in your style, in your authentic voice, then there's enough space for all of us. There really doesn't have to be competition.
Yeah, and it's really important to just be yourself. Don't be afraid of like what people might say, because the world needs more people who are authentic. That's why, like, when you're authentic, just people are so drawn to you. Everybody wants to do it, but they're like all scared. And when they see that, they feel inspired and empowered, maybe at one point, to do it for themselves also.
True. One more important reason why we so have to be authentic, because when we are authentic, we are naturally connecting and inspiring with the people that we're most meant to serve and most meant to work with. So it all boils down to that authenticity piece. Any closing thoughts? Anything else that you want to share or highlight? And also make sure you leave us with, how do people get more from you if they want more from you?
Well, in the close, the most important thing I think everybody should do is just like start with finding out who they really are. And from there, everything like will fall into place. And like, it's like a puzzle. You got this one, and you will know how to complete the whole puzzle.
Yeah.
And just don't be afraid to like show the world who you are and be unique.
Yes.
It really needs that.
Yeah. And even live in that question of, well, who am I at my core, really? And what am I here to say and do? What is my purpose? and live in that question, knowing that it might not always be crystal clear. It might not always fit into this perfect little box. You might have never seen an example of it ever before because you're unique. And it's going to be a work in progress, and it's going to be constantly molding and shifting and changing. But so long as you stay connected to your heart and to this overarching intention of a deep heart connection guiding you in everything you do, as though you have this heart-shaped compass. When working with my own coach, Chayla Davison, that's one of the things that we work with, is this whole image of the heart-shaped compass that guides you wherever you go. And it's so true. I do think that lifestyle design starts with really knowing thyself and trusting your heart and having big trust in life itself as you move forward, taking those baby steps and just never stopping and being committed for the long haul.
Yeah, and it's just for us to know that there's something inside each and every one of us that's unique, and the world needs that in order to feel whole and complete. And what I have, nobody else in the world has, and what you have, the same applies to every individual. And it's our job to discover what that something is and just to share it with the world. And once we do that, it's like our whole world will be transformed, and we will receive from life everything we need, like abundance, great relationship, happiness, joy, peace, everything. But it's just for us to find the courage to let go of the familiar and just step into unknown and just trust that things will come our way. And we don't always know exactly what will happen. There will be time when we'll feel lost, but that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Being able to feel what we're afraid to feel, whether it's that fear of the unknown or that fear of having to feel the sensation of I'm lost, being willing to feel that, knowing that when I really have big trust, when I'm really trusting my life, I know that I can't not find my purpose. It will find me, and I just have to keep moving forward and trusting my heart and staying in action and feeling what might not be fun to feel from time to time, knowing that it will pass as long as I keep moving forward.
And I would like to add something, because this had a really huge impact in my my path. I remember I was imagining at one point how I was at the end of my life, and looking back, I was kind of seeing my whole life, right? And the things that I was afraid to do and all my regrets. And I realized that I was fearing all of the things and regretting everything that I haven't done. So I just had this realization, anyway, it's all going to end one day and I'm going to die. So why not just do these things that I'm afraid, because it's all going to end anyway. So maybe just start with the end in mind. Just realize that one day everything will come to an end, and just do it.
Fuck yes. Let me just say fuck yes to that. Yeah, I love that. Start with the end in mind and really see the vision, look back and ask yourself, if I don't do this, how, am I going to regret it? And whatever it is that's calling you, that's tugging at your heartstrings, that has to be expressed, that has to come out of you, then lean into that, trust it, and pursue it. Even if you don't know all the answers, be willing to do whatever it takes to learn it and pursue it and develop it and grow it and share it, because it is unique to you, and the world is not complete without that one contribution that you have. So thank you so much. I absolutely love that. In having this conversation with you, it's made me even more clear why I love your blog so much. And seriously, sister, I freaking love you. I love every word that you said. And it so resonates with my work and my deepest heart and what I'm trying to do behind the scenes in my business and in front of the scenes in my business. And it's literally spoke straight to my core. So I feel so honored to have had this time with you and to have you share these pieces. I would love to have you back again. Everyone here, if you would like more from Luanita, please make sure you go over and subscribe to her blog, purposefairy.com. Any other closing thoughts, Luanita, you want to share about how they can get more from you, or anything you want to share at all? Floor is yours.
Well, they can always visit, because we have a great community on Facebook, and people are always helping each other, and I'm always there answering their question. And we have a great thing on Tuesday. I let them ask me whatever questions they have, and the one with the most likes, I will always answer it. or on Twitter, and they're like, I'm looking for all kinds of ways to stay more engaged and give as much as possible. And because I do see that people are like, it's like hunger, so like for knowledge, and I'm like, I have so much of it, and I just want to give it all away.
You do have so much of it. You have so much to share. It just drips out of you, and it's a beautiful thing to witness.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for being here, everyone. That was Luminita Saviuk, purposefairy.com. We would love to hear from her again and have more contact with her. So go and visit her blog. Luminita, have a beautiful day. Thank you again.
Have a great time. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.